what I'm saying? Yeah. The fanatic. Where we keep it 100, keep it real. That's the only way we know how to be. Talking that sports talk. You know what I'm saying? Straight out of South Carolina. Upstate, A64. Yeah. The FANATTIC. The fanatic, where we keep it OG. We talking sports, so I call what.
Welcome into the Fanatic Sports Channel for sports fans by sports fans. It's your boy, Coach I. All right, man, we're in here for Arkansas Razorback versus the Cincinnati Bearcats preview, man. I got my guy Razorback Zach from inside the hog pen. What's going on, Zach?
What up, Coach?
Hey, man, we in here, man. It's that time. Talking season is almost over, right around the corner, man. Tell the people about yourself and how they can find you.
One more week marked off. One more week closer to kickoff. I'm Razorback Zach from inside the hog pen here in Central Arkansas. You can find me on Facebook at Inside the Hog Pen or on Twitter at Razorback Zach, the number 1.
That's what's up, man. Hey, man, I've done a show on another channel with Zach, man. Zach brings the energy and the knowledge. We're going to get into this, man. So, Zach, what would this team mean? What would a win mean for each team? Let's start with, matter of fact, let's start with Cincy. What you think it'll mean if Cincy was to be able to win this game?
Well, so Cincinnati, this is an interesting matchup, Coach, because Cincinnati's coming off a college football playoff berth.
Big time.
First time in school history. And if they somehow come into Razorback Stadium and come out with the win, you're almost looking at Cincinnati being solidified as that team, as that Cinderella story.
Yep.
Yes, they got thumped last year in the college football playoff, but to come out against an SEC West opponent and dominate, well, I say dominate, but I mean, if they come out with a win, you're looking at, I mean, you're legitimately, you're looking at them being solidified, especially with their move to the Big 12.
I think you're right, man. I mean, and that's two SEC teams back to back. You know, like you said, they lost to Alabama. Then you come out and SEC West teams at that, not just two SEC teams, two SEC West teams. I think, you know, like they're going to have a tall task ahead of themselves trying to beat Arkansas. But if they somehow pull it out, man, I think, honestly, like you said, going to the Big 12 move in next season, that'd be huge for recruiting. Like, look what we did. Like, we can play with the big boys too, and now we're moving into a Power 5 team. I mean, a Power 5 conference. So now, for Arkansas, man, you guys are coming off a good 2021 season, man. Pittman's got Arkansas going in the right direction. What would this mean to start off? I mean, like I say, it's a group of 5, but we all know since it's not a regular group of 5 team, playoff team, what would this mean win for Pittman and the Razorbacks?
Well, where do we start with Arkansas? So Arkansas's been on the up and up the last couple of years. I mean, you saw it the first year with Pittman in that COVID year. Nobody gave us a chance, and we ended up going 3-9. First time that it's a straight SEC schedule.
Yep.
First time we beat Mississippi State on the road. Pittman's first SEC win, and from there it's just been building. And you contribute that to the culture that he's building there at Arkansas. And it starts at the top 100 Eurocheck and works its all the way down. If Arkansas, well, I'm going to say when Arkansas beats Cincinnati that first game, because, I mean, come on, let's be real here. They're not these teams, unless you're the University of Alabama, nobody is a cupcake anymore. Nobody is a cupcake anymore.
Facts. I mean, a lot of people upset. I mean, last year you had what, Jackson State or something beat Florida State. I mean, bro, you just don't know. You
don't know nowadays. But if Arkansas, when Arkansas comes out and wins that first game, it kind of sets the tone for the rest of the season. Yeah. Now, depending on if they struggle like they did against Rice last year when they were down 17-7 late in the third quarter, I don't think you're going to see that bad of play. Let's put it like that. You're not going to see KJ kind of stutter step and misses reads and misses progressions and things like that. I think an additional year with Kendall Briles having a returning quarterback for the first time in his career, you're actually going to see this team gel a whole lot faster and a whole lot better because you've got more receivers now than just Treylon Burks.
Yeah.
So you're not just depending on one guy to throw it downfield and go, he's down there somewhere. You've got You've got the kid out of Georgia, the wide receiver out of Georgia. You've got Hazelwood. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You've got that kid. You got Hazelwood out of Oklahoma. You've got Devion Warren, I believe, is coming back. Mm-hmm. Tyson Morris. I mean, so you have a deep group of receivers that KJ can handle. Plus, we've got a loaded backfield.
And so Pittman gonna have that offensive line, right?
Oh boy, I'm so excited about that offensive line. But if Arkansas pulls the victory out, depending on if it's a 7 point, if it's anything over 10,
yeah,
that sets the tone for the rest of the season. Now, if it's what we like to call a struggle win,
yeah,
you're gonna have a lot of fans go, I don't know about this team, and you're gonna start seeing those 10-2, and I'm not gonna give away my predictions, but you're gonna start seeing those 10-2 predictions start going down to 8-4, the 7-5. I don't think you're gonna see a 6-6 season out of this team, though. I really don't.
Okay, and it's going to be interesting to see that Arkansas offense going against Cincinnati defense. They lost Cincinnati's defense lost some good defensive backs. Mm-hmm. Luke Fickell's a pretty good defensive coach, so we'll see how he replaces those guys. Like you say, you got Jaden Hazelwood. I'm actually looking forward to Jaden Hazelwood being healthy, because if he is, I was telling the Arkansas fan on Twitter, no, he's not going to be used the same way Treylon Burks was, because you guys used him in a lot of end around.
Oh yeah,
rounds. Like he was almost like a Swiss Army knife. Jaden Hazelwood is a true wide receiver one. You know what I'm saying? And I think he can make just as many plays though. You know what I'm saying? If he's healthy. And then like you say, you got KJ coming back for another year. He's rated as one of the top QBs in the SEC, getting some outside Heisman love. Do you think how you think he handling all the because last year nobody was really giving him that love like that, man. It changed people.
I'm of the few fans that I'm not yet drinking the Heisman Kool-Aid just yet.
Okay.
I want to see what he does in the month of September. If we go into that Alabama game 4-0, start talking about it.
Okay.
Start talking about it. Because too many times you've got all these guys that are like, Heisman, let me look at Spencer Rattler. Prime example. He comes in last year, and I know we're getting off subject here, Coach, but he comes in last year and he's the Heisman favorite, and he just falls flat on his face. Ends up transferring, and he's now at South Carolina. So now we get to see, okay, is Rattler the real deal, or was it the situation around him? As far as KJ goes, like I said, let me see how he does that first 4 games. And if, like I said, he goes into that Alabama game 4-0, you start cranking that up a little bit.
Okay. I can see it. The dude's he's a big target to take down. If he's fully healthy, he's a freight train.
I would not want to see him running at me. I can tell you that.
Yeah. So if he can, I think you're gonna have to use him in a balance though. I don't think he needs to rely on his legs too much. You know what I'm saying? Because then you start having teams load the box. Which honestly, after the Georgia game last year, when they interviewed the linebackers, they was like, no, on third down we was looking for KJ to run every single time. I think he needs to trust his arm more. So
here's the funny part. We've got a backup quarterback by the name of Malik Hornsby.
Okay.
And they are going to try and put a package together for him at the wide receiver spot. So if you have KJ and Malik in the same on the field at the same time, who you and Jaden Hazelwood, and another wide receiver, who you going to cover? You're going to double cover Hazelwood, which leaves Hornsby open. Okay, but if all your guys are covered, if KJ can read his progressions and go through his downs, and he doesn't see anybody open, that's when he takes off. I think because we only relied on Treylon so much last year, because he was 90% of our offense.
For sure.
I think that's why you saw him take off so much. I don't think you're going to see him take off as much this year unless he absolutely has to.
Well, he definitely has, like you said, more weapons. So if he can use those weapons and then strategically use his legs, because like you said, he's a load coming at you, then I think that'll be better for the offense, man. Now, on the flip side, the Arkansas defense versus the Cincy offense. Cincy, again, loses key pieces, man. They lose their quarterback to the NFL draft. So it's going to be interesting. You guys got Amir Speed Not Amir Speed. I'm sorry. What's the guy's name from Georgia? The defensive back. You got a defensive back from Georgia, and you got one from LSU.
Now the linebacker
McGlothern. You got that's the
guy
we got
from
LSU at DB. So you guys transfer portal. I think Pittman did good in the transfer portal, man.
He did because we lost a lot. We lost we lost our captain on defense in Grant Morgan, but I think you're going to see Bumper Poole step up. And my biggest concern as far as the Arkansas defense is the defensive line.
Okay.
We've got a great secondary. We've got great linebackers. It's that defensive line that I'm having a little issues with. I'm kind of scared about them.
You thinking like scared about them because you can't get a pass rush, or scared about them because you can't stop the run? Because I can guarantee you, Cincy is going to try to establish a run game.
And they are, and that's what they're known for. That's what Cincy's known for is the run game, because you've got a quarterback controversy going on with Luke Fickell in Cincinnati right now. So, for me, that defensive line for Arkansas, you had John Ridgway there last year. I want to know who's going to step up and take his spot, or is it going to be a defensive line by committee?
Okay.
Right now, I don't know.
Okay. Well, that's going to be interesting because, like I say, especially when you're breaking in a new quarterback, if you can't establish a run on the road, then your chances of even keeping it close are slim to none.
And, Coach, I can tell you now, this is the first game. It's going to be hot, but that's going to be a hostile environment.
Yeah, and the DB I was trying to think of is Latavius Brini. He came from Georgia. Now he's on Arkansas's team.
Yes.
So you guys got SEC, caliber DBs. I think the defense may be better than people think it's going to be.
The key to that defense is going to be Drew Sanders, the linebacker from Alabama. I've seen some pics of him and videos from him in practice. Coach.
Listen, from our friend Jonathan, the Bama fan, man, he says if Drew can stay healthy, he's definitely going to make an impact on the defense. And you put him beside Bumper Poole, like I say, maybe the defensive line, maybe they can hold it down until the defensive line gets that continuity, 2, 3, 4 games into the season before you roll up against Bama. Okay, man. So, when you give your predictions, which is what we're about to do, I need some keys to victory, man. Like, tell me why you think you're going to win and how you're going to do it.
For just the Cincinnati game, or are we going all season?
Well, we're going to go Cincinnati first, and then I want you to tell me after the Cincinnati game, what you think you're going to finish for the season.
Oh, man, you put me on the spot. So, it's going to be a win for Arkansas, and I'm going to go 37-17.
3 scores.
I don't. Then I say that, and yes, I know what I just said about the defense, but I honestly think that we have got such a high power offense, that we can outrun them, outscore them.
Okay.
Keys to the game: KJ has got to settle down.
Facts.
That was one of my biggest issues with him last year. Is he wasn't settling down and he was standing too long in that pocket.
Camped out.
He's like a statue. He do a 5-step drop and just stand there.
Yeah.
He's not a scramble. I'm not saying, scramble the eggs, but he's going to have to settle down and trust his offensive line to know that they know their assignments. They're going to block for him.
Okay.
Second thing, I want to see how these wide receivers do.
Okay.
In the spring game, they look great, but you didn't have everybody at that time.
Yeah, you also got Matt Landers that used to be at UGA. Mm-hmm. That's the wide receiver you was referring to. Yep.
Yeah, Matt. Yeah, but yeah, the definitely the wide receivers. I mean, I'm not worried about a running game. Rocket Sanders, Dominique Johnson, AJ Green, we're loaded back there. Dominique Johnson's going to be out for the first 2 games.
Okay.
So you're going to see a little bit of a drop off, but not much.
All right. Okay. All right, well, I think you guys will win the game. I'm definitely picking Arkansas to win. I'm big on Sam Pittman. I think he's got the program going right. I think it'll be more like a 24-10 is what I'm going to say. I'm going to say something like that.
That's reasonable.
Because, like I say, when Cincy replacing their quarterback, they wasn't like this high-powered offense anyway. Right. They just was a good team. But they're replacing a long-time starter, and I think that's going to give them fits. And I've been to Arkansas. I tell people all the time, Arkansas is definitely not the biggest stadium in the SEC by far, but is one of the nicest, and it definitely gets loud.
And here's the thing for the Cincinnati fans that might watch this. Don't let this if they lose to Arkansas, don't let this be the downfall of the season. They're still going to be.
It shouldn't. Yeah,
they're still going to be a decent team.
I'm picking Arkansas to win, but outside, and I don't think they have to play Houston until they wouldn't have to play them until like the conference championship, if that. But I got them like they could actually lose this game and run the table. So
I don't know if they're going to run the table.
They could, because I looked at their schedule and it's like Arkansas may be the hardest game on the schedule.
True. What do you, Coach? I'm gonna turn tables. I'm gonna ask you a question. If Cincinnati wins this, does this further the argument for the playoff expansion?
I think so. I think they're already headed that way, but it's like it puts the nail in the coffin to anybody trying to say they shouldn't expand, because you can't now say that, because for nothing, man, Cincinnati in 2020 gave Georgia all they wanted in the New Year's Six Bowl at the Peach Bowl, and then they turned around, ran the table last year, got in the playoffs. And Alabama pretty much did what they wanted. It wasn't a total blowout because they didn't have to. I think they were just saving it for the national championship.
I think Saban just coasted that game.
Yeah, I do. But the fact that they were there and they, a couple of drives they gave them fits. If they could come into Arkansas and get a win, yeah, man, I think that could push forward the timeline on expanding the playoffs. I would
love to be able to sit here and go, Arkansas is going to blow them out. Arkansas is going to keep them off the scoreboard. Realistically, ain't going to happen.
Yeah, no. It's hard to keep people off the scoreboard.
Realistically, here's what's probably going to happen. Cincinnati's going to punch us in the mouth that first half. And it's going to wait. They're going, at least they're going to punch us in the mouth, and they're going to catch us off guard, because it's an SEC West school. We're in the SEC. But I don't think, and again, we could talk all day about Sam Pittman, but I don't think Pitt's going to have them in that mindset of, let's just go out there and play not to lose. I think they're going to go out there and flex their muscle.
Yeah. I could totally see the first half being, that's why I said 24-10. I could see the halftime score being like 10-7 Cincinnati.
That'd be too close for me.
I just think because of the depth, because to be good, man, you can't just have a starting 22. You gotta have more depth. And I think at the end of the day, Arkansas is gonna ultimately have more depth because of all the losses that Cincinnati took all their roster for everybody going. And they didn't just lose guys; they lost guys to the NFL. That's different than losing people to just graduation. Like, they lost NFL caliber talent. So
that's don't take anything away from Arkansas, because Arkansas lost a couple of key pieces too. I mean, Treylon Burks, he's in the NFL now.
You lose a Treylon, but then you gain a Jaden Hazelwood. Like, they lost they lost two starting DBs. They didn't get that in return. You sound like They may have some guys now. I'm not saying that they don't have guys that could replace them and be just as good, but like, we don't know of that talent like that. You know what I'm saying? So
one of the things. I'm sorry. Go ahead, boss.
No, I was just going to say, you had Jaden Hazelwood, who played in the Lincoln Riley, Oklahoma offense. And, when he was healthy, made a difference, like a huge difference. So I think that helps when you lose a big talent like Burke and then you bring in a talent like a Hazelwood. I think
Coach Pittman, if anything, Coach Pittman is using the transfer portal exactly the way it was intended to be used.
Facts.
If you can't recruit a guy, go in the portal. Grab what you need, not what you want, but what you need.
Facts. So, all right. So tell me, with your pick, you say y'all gonna win this game. After this win, you play South Carolina in week 2. So you gotta start out like you ain't starting out with the cupcakes. You know what I'm saying? You go.
No, I love. Look, if there was, look, Coach, I'm gonna tell you right now. If there was a trophy for the hardest schedule in football, we would have that bad boy for 5 years straight.
You definitely have a claim at it, man. Y'all, South Carolina always has a hard schedule because they play Texas A&M, Clemson, and then the last year they played Bama or something like. It was crazy. It's like y'all always have a bad schedule. BYU, you guys got them, but they have a hard schedule. Like, they almost went through and just said, "Hey, man, give us all Power 5 guys or something." It was like, it's crazy.
So Coach Pittman spoke at our local touchdown club today to kick off the unofficial start to football season.
Yeah.
And he said they were asking him about the schedule and the fact that all 12 of our scheduled opponents, all 12 of them have played in the postseason the previous year. It's the first time we've ever had that. Yeah. And he said, I don't know who I pissed off, but somebody's trying to get me fired before I even get started.
Bro, y'all got a hard schedule. So tell me how you think it's going to roll out.
Here's the thing, though. With South Carolina, that's the oddball out. I don't think we're going to lose.
Okay.
But I have no idea what they're going to look like.
Nobody
I have no idea what they're going to look like. No idea. As far as my prediction for the season, best case scenario, if we can catch a break, 11-1, and that one loss is to Alabama.
Okay. It's not out of the realm of possibility. You beat Texas.
However, and I'm gonna drop a bomb on your show that I have yet to drop on my fan base. So this is you ready for this? I would give up
Monday, August 15th, 2022. Razorback Zach inside the hall pen. Here it is, fellas.
I would give up a win against Missouri if it meant we beat Alabama.
You would take a loss to Missouri
because here's the deal. All right,
hold on before you go, Zach. Hold on.
Let me explain. Hold on. Because that's the first time I've seen Coach come up out of his seat.
Listen. Texas A&M beat.
Hold on.
What did that mean for them? They lost 4 SEC West games last year.
We have not beaten Alabama since 2006.
Okay.
We have not beaten. We beat A&M last year. I'm good with that. I think we can beat them again. But however, that's one of my. That one I went both ways. But everybody's talking about we have the potential this year to upset Alabama. I will gladly give up that stupid. Can I cuss on your show?
Yeah, man, that's fine.
I would gladly give up that stupid ass Battle Line trophy if it meant beating Alabama and Nick Saban, because that's something we have not done yet.
But not a lot of people do.
Not a lot of people do.
Not a lot of people do. But what's crazy, before you finish, I had some Texas fans on. I asked them, who would you rather beat in 2022, Bama or Oklahoma? They said Oklahoma, hands down, because everybody loses to Bama. That's the thing. It's like when you lose to the other teams, it almost affects you more than when you lose to Bama, because Bama beats everybody. So it's like, oh, well, you lost to Bama. Oh.
Every time somebody asks me about Bama, I go, look, the SEC and the college football playoff go right through Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Oh, every year.
But again, it's not everybody hates Alabama, but not because of Nick Saban and he gets all these recruits. It's because they win all the time.
Well,
they're the Tom Brady and the New England Patriots / Tampa Bay Bucks of the college football world. Let somebody else win for a change.
Listen, man. So y'all play Bama first, and then y'all play. Let me look at y'all's schedule, man.
So here's the deal: we play South Carolina, and then I believe the next SEC game is A&M. Yeah. I will break it down in like this. Going into that Alabama game, it's going to be a battle of the undefeateds. Alabama and Arkansas will both be 4-0 going into that game.
Okay, so you got Cincinnati, South Carolina, Missouri State, A&M 4-0.
Oh,
okay.
Coach, one note about that Missouri State game. It is the official return of Bobby Petrino inside of Razorback Stadium since he had his bike wreck.
Get some.
So I am going to say this on every show I'm on this week. If the Arkansas fan base, especially the student section, does not show up wearing a blonde wig and a neck brace, I'm going to be highly disappointed.
You heard it here first, Arkansas fans. He's calling you out. That's how you're supposed to dress for that game. All right, the one game I do want you to just something quick. The trip to BYU. That is not, I don't think.
Provo.
Bruh, it's hard to win in Provo, bro.
Man, I tell you, that one, if there is a non-conference on our schedule this year, that would be the one to trip us up.
That's what I was.
I
don't think you're gonna lose, but it's a hard game.
I went back and forth on this one. for weeks. I told my co-host MC, I was like, I want to give us the win because non-conference, but it's a good non-conference game.
Listen, the only reason why I think BYU won't win 10 games is because of their schedule. But they have the team. They bringing back, I want to say like 16 or 17 of their starters. And again, if it's a night game in Provo, I hope the Arkansas fans travel.
So were they in the AP preseason poll? Were they in the AP top 25 this year? They weren't in the coaches poll.
Let me see the AP because
AP just came out earlier. Was it yesterday or the day before?
Yesterday. So here you go. Let's see what we got.
Because they're a perennial top 25 team. They may be in the lower part of it, but they're usually always in that top 25.
They did. They made it at 25. Arkansas is 19, and
they barely made it.
They did, but I'm telling you, dog.
I'd like to look. I haven't had a chance to actually sit down and look at the coaches poll and the AP. But I'll have that all ready for Wednesday night when our show airs. I want to look at our schedule versus how many teams are in those preseason polls.
Well, just off the top, y'all played Bama, A&M.
Yeah. A&M's going to be a different one because they've got all these new recruits in.
Cincinnati and BYU.
Kill me now.
Y'all don't play. Who's your crossover game? South Carolina. And who else?
South Carolina, Missouri are East crossovers.
Okay, so yeah, 5.
So Missouri is the permanent.
Got you.
And then South Carolina kind of rotates. I think next year it's Florida.
I think South Carolina and Arkansas. I'm not saying they're going to get game day, but it's a possibility.
See, I'd rather it be that one because, and I'm gonna drop another bomb on you. If Arkansas and Alabama are both 4-0 going into that game, game day will skip Fayetteville because I'm gonna tell you why. The very next week, it's Alabama, Texas A&M.
Oh,
with all the crap that was stirred up during the offseason, they're gonna be there.
For sure, they are. Without a doubt, that's gonna be the most talked about game all season until it happens.
Wouldn't it be something? And again, this is it's possible, but it's out there. Wouldn't it be something for Arkansas to hand Bama their first loss and then they turn around and they're so mentally shaken, probably not, but that they drop another one to A&M? I mean,
that would be something.
Hell would have to freeze over for that to happen.
All right, listen, man. Not for that, man. I got Bama in the championship. I don't know.
until I see something different, I got Bama at least in the top 4.
So, man, I was good chopping it up with you today, Zach. Man, telling people where they can find you at again.
I'm on Facebook at Inside the Hog Pen or 4-Star Sports Media, either one. And then I'm also on Twitter at Razorback Zach 1. You can find my show anywhere podcasts are found. Just put in your search bar 4-Star Sports Media, and you'll get my show for free.
That's it. Arkansas fans, get in the comments, man. Let us know if you agree with Zach and if you are going to be wearing the neck brace and the blonde wig when
7 p.m. Central Time on Wednesday nights. Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central. You can catch the live show.
There it is. So for Razorback Zach Inside the Hog Pen, man, this is Coach I, Fanatic, and we are out of here.
Go Hogs.
We got it jumping like it's that valley. I call my dogs out the pound, let's go eat. Turn on the Fanatic, let's have a debate. Who really hold down the Southeast from state to state? What team hungry gonna eat everything up off they plate?